When a teen house party goes terribly wrong, disaster is definitely bound to occur.
Go, 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 go. Hey, hey, get on the ground! Get on the ground! Now! Get on the ground! Chase! Get on the ground! Taser. Get on the ground, now!
A couple of teens were caught by the police in an empty house. Some of the teens had drugs, alcohol, and weed on them. When the police came, some of them tried to run away from the police, but they were caught. After much questioning, it was discovered that they had broken into the house to have a party. Some of the teens didn't even know that they were trespassing. And so most of them had consumed alcohol, and the police had to take them in for questioning and also tell their parents what they were in for. It was a very long night, and the teens were in for a lot. They were charged with trespassing, and it looked like they were going to spend some time in jail. Some of them were teenagers, and some of them were adults. They were also charged because of what was found on them. These teenagers were spoiled because they were trying to break into a house and have a party. Some of them were clueless about what they were doing at the house, and some got invited through a flyer they were given. The police were still working to find out who threw the party. It was January 22, 2023. The police had responded to an alarming situation at Lake Rancho El Dorado. It was an empty house with 16 people inside. The police found out that there were underage people in the house and that they had with them a good amount of alcohol, cocaine, and loaded guns. The police ran in and demanded that the teens get on the ground immediately. Some of them ran as they saw the police. The police asked them to put their hands behind their backs and not move.
I didn't do anything. Get on your belly, down! Lay on your belly! Lay on your stomach! Get on the ground! Lay on your stomach, down! Put your hands behind your back. Don't move, okay? Don't move! Put your hands behind your back right now. Straight upstairs.
The police saw some frightened female teens and they were handcuffed. One of the teens tried to get away from the police and he was caught. When the police moved further to the backyard, they saw 4 female teens and they were asked to get on the ground.
Get your ass down now! Down! Everybody, down! On your belly! If I have to repeat myself, someone's taking a ride with a taser.
I got 4 females in the backyard.
What part of the police is here? Don't you guys understand? That means you guys stop, don't run. How old are you guys?
Officer.
Yes, ma'am?
My phone, it's
This one right here?
no, my phone's over the wall.
Okay.
Can you please get it for me?
Yeah, we'll grab that in a minute.
And my phone is up on the fence as well.
Okay, we'll grab this in a minute.
The police asked the teens if they had any form of weapon on them, but they didn't. They were cuffed, and the police told them that they were trespassing on the property. The teens said that they didn't know they weren't supposed to be there.
No.
Bring your hands, ma'am. Yes. You guys know you guys are trespassing, right?
We didn't know. We didn't know. Wow, and we thought someone owned the place. Yeah, we didn't know we weren't supposed to be here.
Okay.
We were invited.
The teens were told by the police that if they cooperate with them, they were going to remove the handcuffs. The police uncuffed the teens and led them out of the backyard. The police officer had helped them to find their belongings and led them out in a straight line. They asked them to sit down, and the police officer gave them a note and a pen in order for them to write down their names. And he also said they shouldn't lie about it. The teens were minors, and the police knew that they had to call their guardians or parents to come get them. The police proceeded to check their belongings in order for them to find anything that could be incriminating or dangerous.
You guys are gonna go cooperate? All right, we're gonna go walk back inside. And from there on, as long as you guys cooperate, we don't have to put everyone in cuffs. Okay? Huh? We're gonna take those off. As long as you guys cooperate, we're good, okay? All right, let's see. You guys live locally, or where do you guys live?
We never knew that God did this. We didn't know God did this.
After some time, one of the moms came over to the house and asked the police officer what was going on. The police had to explain to her that they found alcohol on her son, and she was feeling so agitated, she asked the police if they saw him drinking. But it was explained to her that he was trespassing, and they had found 2 guns and a lot of weed and alcohol, and so they had to carry the teens to the police station.
Hold on. What do you mean what's going on?
Why is
Go
he
ahead.
in handcuffs?
Because he's over here in a house, partying it up with some friends. There's guns involved, so that's why he's in handcuffs right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so go ahead and you want to talk to him real quick. So what's going on?
The police officer told the parents and the guardians to come to the police station after 2 hours in order for the police to have time to run tests on them to know if they had alcohol in their system and also get more information. Some of them had drugs and condoms. They were planning to have underage sex. It was stopped thanks to the intervention of the police.
Just we'll call you in a couple hours.
Him in the system.
He's going to the police station. So we'll process him, and we're trying not to take him to jail, to juvie. We're going to try to get him released back to you in 2 hours, okay? So if this is a good number, we'll call you in 2 hours to come get him, okay?
I'm just not.
All right, we'll give us a minute.
What's this problem?
At the police station, they told the parents and guardian that the teens were going to be charged with felony trespassing and curfew violation. The police had found some weed in the shoes of one of the boys, and it was taken out and kept as evidence. The boy was let out. Another one of the teens was cuffed and snapped. He was taken to the police car. A parent of another teen called, and she was explaining to the police officer that her son didn't know they were trespassing, and he didn't resist arrest. She had also explained to the officer that if the police had body cam on, they could know if he had resisted the arrest or not, and that she believed her son, and that she knew their rights. Her son had explained to her that it was his friend that tried to jump over him from the police, and she had found out her son was being charged with resisting arrest, and he told her he wasn't resisting the arrest, and he stayed on the phone.
Resist arrest. You know what I'm saying? He didn't resist arrest. This is what he's telling me, and I'm just trying to see if they have body cameras on or, what was their report. But this is my son, and he really wears it, and I kind of believe what he tell me, and I'm kind of with the other parents on what's going on. So what I'm saying is he said when he arrested, his friend jumped over him and tried to get away. And so he tased his friend, and he said for that reason, they all got charged with resisting arrest. He said he never resisted arrest.
The teen also told his mother that the officers were pointing guns at them, saying that if they moved, they were going to shoot the gun at their face. She had also said her son was a good boy who was a high school senior and hadn't been in trouble all of his life. She complained that things were happening with the police right now, and if the officer had slipped, she could have a dead son.
Was pointing guns in their face and told them if they moved, they was going to shoot him in the face. And my son, he's a high school senior. He's going, he's a high school senior. He never been in trouble. He's a good kid. And that startled him, man, and I didn't appreciate that.
But the officer had to explain to her it was someone's home. It was nearly completed, and it was at its final stage of construction. And everyone who was at the party was charged with criminal trespassing first degree. Nobody was slugging or punching. They were only running and pulling away.
Just go off of what I read on the reports, okay? Apparently, what happened, everybody who was at the house, because the house was under construction, it was at the final stages of construction, so the homeowner currently was Richmond American Homes. So everybody who went into the party was charged with criminal trespass in the first degree. It seems to me nobody was slugging or punching. People were running and pulling away when they got grabbed onto.
The mom had said that people were running and pulling away, but her son was on the ground with his face down. And the officer had said if he moved, he was going to shoot his face off.
A couple people up the stairs tried to get away, run away, but he never did resist. He said he laid down. He laid down. That's when the officer pointed in his face that if you move, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Well, the officer explained to the mom that he was looking at the report, and there was no mention of that in the report. The officer explained to the mom that he had been doing police work for 25 years now, and he had never heard an officer threatening to shoot someone face to face, and that they were not trained to do that. He had also said that he was not saying it didn't happen, but he had never heard that before.
There was no mention of that anytime an officer draws their weapon. Now, when the officers went upstairs and cleared, and when it became apparent that multiple subjects that were at this party were armed.
The mom then said she didn't know if it happened or not, but that was what her son and his friends were saying. The police officer then said it was her son. He had known that this was public records. The video is there, and he didn't know what could have been said. The officer continued to explain to the mom that the criminal trespassing first degree is a Class 6 felony, meaning he was going to be given an opportunity to be able to speak with the prosecutor. He also explained that the officers at the house charged what they had probably caused. Every teen present at the house was charged with criminal trespassing, and nobody was given an exemption.
We know what happens out there.
Well,
I'm not saying that he said it or he didn't. I'm just saying what my son and his friend said the officers told them.
Okay.
The police had advised the mom that her son could say that he wasn't aware that he was going to an actual residence. The police didn't know who threw the party. The mom said that her son was given a flyer, and her son had only showed up to it, and he had no business with the organization of the party. The police officer told the mom that he had suggested her son keep the flyer and show up with it.
People, your son could say he was unaware that the person that he wasn't going to an actual residence, that he was going to a home under construction that had not been turned over to a homeowner and was still owned by the builder and the kid, whoever threw the party, and I have no idea who threw the party.
she should give it to the prosecutor and explain everything to him. The officer also explained that if her son wasn't aware that he was going to a private house and that it was an invite, it was possible for the prosecutor to lower the charges from criminal trespass first degree, which was a Class 6 felony. But he also explained that it was going to be up to the prosecutor, and the same thing was going to be for resisting arrest since he was not actively resisting arrest. The police officer acknowledged the fact that the mom was calling because a good parent should be concerned. The officer knew she was looking out for her son. He also advised her to get the copies of the flyers, and if she had issues, she should let them know. He also said she should have her son sit down with the prosecutor and everything was going to be okay.
Suggest hang on to that flyer, obviously.
Yeah, we got the flyer. We got that flyer.
And
Yes,
show
we do.
show that to the prosecutor. If your son was unaware that he wasn't going into a private residence, that he was going into that he was an invite, I would imagine the prosecutor could, at the very least, downgrade it from criminal trespass first degree, which is a Class 6 felony. That's going to be up to the prosecutor.
The officer also said that he didn't see the problem as something that was going to be damaging to her son in the future, that it was possible for him to do anything he chose to do when everything was finally over.
I don't think this is going to damage your son. I don't think this is going to keep him from doing anything he chooses to do when it's all said and done. Hopefully I'm right, but
The police officer went further to say that the biggest thing is to tell the truth. He said he had a broken window when he was in high school. He stepped forward and said he did it. He didn't mean to, but he ended up paying for it. The mom had said that she also advised her son to just be honest. The officer had also said that her son wasn't drinking or carrying weed. He didn't have a gun on him. He was just there. Maybe he shouldn't have been there, but he is 18 years old. There were no 18-year-olds with good judgments, but that comes with age and experience. Even adults still screw up sometimes.
tell her kids, just be honest. I remember I broke a window when I was in high school. I immediately stepped forward and said, hey, I did this. I didn't mean to, but I did this. I didn't get yelled at. I just had to pay for the window.
Yeah.
You know?
The officer advised the mom that everything was going to be okay if she stayed on top of it. She had all the information she could get at the end of it all. It was going to be a great, big learning experience for her son. The mom also confirmed that she was also telling her son that. The officer also said that if her son wanted to go into the family business, he was going to make it big because he sounded like a big ball player. The police officer went further to explain that in law enforcement, they got young guys who were military inside the locker room. There was a basketball player, a football player, and so on. So obviously the job attracts athletes. She also said her son was a big fan of LeBron James. He had the same birthday with him. The police officer said he is handsome and definitely wears the name well. The police officer wished the mom good luck and a good day. Desmond S. Lewis and Kevin K. Cius were arrested and booked on suspicion of first-degree trespassing, resisting arrest,